All right, my name's Deane Cheatham. We're going to talk today about some things that I've seen over the years that are holding people back in real estate. And, we all have a tremendous amount of potential, I would think, I would hope, or you wouldn't have gotten into this business. You feel positive, but there are certain roadblocks along the way that could hold you back. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've seen things that have held me back that I've been able to work through and overcome that have let me go to another level. And then I've seen it a lot with other people. I have trained and coached both here at Hometown and through the Mike Ferry organization and through Brian Buffini. I've helped people all across the United States and Canada. So I've got a lot of experience in sort of seeing what some of these things might be. So a little while ago, I was watching the Tom Ferry seminar that we're piping into a couple of the offices. I was at Carytown, and it was amazing. I watched for about an hour, and it was just amazing how much awesome information I was able to get, which leads me to the number one point that I think that holds people back. I'm going to shut my door here so I'm not blasting this out to all the people in the Ashland office. So the number one thing that's holding people back, I think, is the sort of mindset that I know it all. I know it all. I've been to all the training. I've read the book. I've done it all. And that can be dangerous, not just for experienced agents, but for new agents as well. I've seen a lot of people get into the business thinking, well, shit, how hard could this be? I mean, Deane Cheatham could be successful, so anybody can do it. Mike Chenault can be successful, so anybody can do this. Well, you know what? You got to have an open mind. You've got to put your ego aside and accept the fact that you don't know it all. And even though it's not rocket science and it's not extremely complicated, there's a lot of stuff that you need to learn. And it goes for whether you've been in the business 1 year, 0 years, 5, 10, 20 years. There's new stuff coming down the pike all the time. And again, sometimes our fundamentals aren't as strong as they need to be. Like if you're a football player, do you think that the NFL players, forget COVID-19, I don't know what they're doing now, but do you think NFL players and college players, do you think they work on blocking and tackling? Yeah, they do. I mean, that's a fundamental. They're expected to know how to do it, but they're constantly trying to refine their technique in order to be better. And that's what we've got to be doing as well. So whether you're new or experienced, you got to think, you know what, I don't know it all. I need to open my mind and find some sources of new, positive, good information so that I can be better and take it to the next level so I can reach my potential. Think of this. Has the business changed in the last 25 years? Of course. I mean, when I got in the business, there was no computer MLS. We got an MLS book. Has the business changed in the last 20 years? Yes. Last 5, even the last 1 year, this business has changed, and it's constantly changing now faster than ever. So you need to realize that you don't know it all. That is point number one. Let's move on to point number two. Point number two, I wrote down this, is being good does not cut it. Good does not cut it. Okay, good is sort of associated with average. There in our market, I think there's over 5,000 real estate agents in our Richmond market. For those of you that are watching this thing in one of our other offices, it might be a different MLS. I don't know how many you got, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of competition out there. So how do you set yourself apart from the competition? And if you're just good, that ain't gonna cut it. You're never gonna get great results by being good at selling real estate. Tom Ferry was talking today that the whole thing's got to change, and you've got to be seen as great in the eyes of the customer. You've got to be giving great service and great results to your customer if you want to survive in this real estate market that we're in and what's going to be in the future. So, in order to get the results that you want, and I don't know very many of us that don't have high aspirations in the business. In order to get those great results, okay, you've got to be better than the competition. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, here's some good news. The competition is not all that strong. Okay, the average agent is just not all that good. They don't practice their skills. They don't work on things. They're not open. Hold on, I gotta let somebody in here. They are not open to new ideas. They're stagnant, okay? If you're that way, you're going to just continue to be good and you're going to have trouble. All right. So what I think in order to be better than good, in order to get to greatness, Okay, number one, you got to work on your craft. Okay, you got to.
And all he did was argue with me every time he had to cross-examine.
Elizabeth, I'm getting some. Can you mute Elizabeth? I'm getting some background noise from you, if you could. Thank you. You got to work on your craft. What does that mean? It means you got to practice things. Practice like your listing presentation. Have you ever done that, or do you just go out and wing it every time? I mean, why don't you sit down with some people in your office and give a mock listing presentation? You know, you could sit down with your manager, you could sit down with other agents and just, give your presentation and then talk about it. See what it is. Don't be embarrassed, because each listing presentation, what is that worth? $6,000, $10,000, $20,000? I mean, if you were going to give a speech and somebody's going to pay you that kind of money, wouldn't you practice it? I certainly would. So you got to study the market. See, here's the thing. People are looking for really three things out of you as an agent. They're wondering, are you competent? I mean, do you know what you're talking about? Okay. Are you of good character? Do you do the things you say you're going to do? Are you also confident about your abilities as a real estate agent? But what we're talking about here is really working on that competency. You have to be able to talk the talk. You have to have the skill set to be able to manage a buyer in today's market. You have to be able to understand the needs of your sellers and clearly explain what you're going to do to help them get to the goals that they want to achieve. Okay, so working on your craft is how you do that. Okay. Second thing I wrote down as far as not just being good is, if you do what all the other agents are doing, if you're just modeling on the average, if you just march in line with what everybody else is doing, then you're going to get the same results that they get, which is not very good. Okay. So here's the thing. So the average income of the agent in the United States is like $32,000. Okay. The average agent makes 32 grand. And maybe that's what you want to make, and that's fine. Okay. That ain't for me. All right. And I doubt it's for you. You want to do better than that. Okay. That comes out to about $16 an hour. Okay. So with a little bit of tenure and experience, you probably could make that flipping hamburgers somewhere. All right. So think about this, something that is so vital to the economy, like real estate is. The average income is $16 an hour. Insane. So you don't want to be there. So you cannot march to the same drum that they're marching to. You have got to find ways to give better service. You have got to find ways to find more clients than they are finding. You've got to find ways to motivate your database and your center of influence to give you more referrals than they are getting. Okay. So it is so essential to maybe have somewhat of what we call a contrarian view and not do what everybody else is doing. So I wrote this down: look around, see what average is doing, and do something different. Welcome, Donna Hines. Look around, see what average is doing, and do something different. Look around, see what successful agents are doing, and mirror what they're doing. You don't have to do everything that I do or that another successful agent does. It might not really fit you. But I can tell you, if you look around and see what successful agents are doing and try to mimic that, that's going to be a lot better than sort of what happens. It doesn't make any sense, but people mimic the average agent and they get the average results. So you can shadow successful agents. You can meet for lunch, invite a successful agent at the company to go out to lunch, pay for their lunch, sit down, ask them a bunch of questions. I'd be glad to do that. Call me if you want to have lunch with me and you're going to pay, then I'd be glad to have lunch with you. All right. And then another thing you can do is write down before one of those meetings, maybe write down what you do for a week or for a couple days. And when you sit down with that successful agent, say, hey, here's some of the things that I do in my time. How does this look to you? How does this compare with what you do? And I think that might help you. So again, that whole point is the average agent is basically just good and you need to be great. All right, let's go to the third point. All right. If your clients are not hearing from you, they're not thinking about you. And even worse, they might think that you don't care about them. Okay, these are your clients, past clients, current clients, and in people in your database, your center of influence. They need to be hearing from you. What does that mean? Well, Brian Buffini would say calls, notes, and pop buys. Okay, you can call them on the phone. You can write them a handwritten note. You can go by and see them. Those are great ways to communicate with people. If they think you care about them, then they are probably going to care about you. Okay? So you can also text. Here's a little trick that I use. Um, I spend a lot of time doing things that aren't really being right here at the office. I mean, I like to hunt, so when you deer hunt, you like sit up in a tree and you're quiet, whatever, you're not really talking to anybody. So I get my phone and I'll just I set a goal to try to text at least 10 people and give them some kind of meaningful communication while I'm just sitting around. So if I can text 10 people in my center of influence every day, that's significant. That's 50 a week in just 5 days of a work week. So that's huge. Okay, so calls, notes, pop-bys, texts, client events, whatever it might be. You can even do emails. You can send them a video, all sorts of cool stuff. But again, if they're not hearing from you, they think that you don't care and you're not on their mind. And even worse, they're probably hearing from somebody else. So how many times is it going to take for them not to hear from you, but to hear from another agent before they say, you know what, maybe I need to refer my business to this person rather than you. Maybe I need to give my business to this person rather than you. So you have to be very careful about your lack of communication. Here's the good news. It's not anything, you can always come back from it, okay? Now, maybe you've lost people, I hope you haven't, but you can start today and just say, you know what, I'm gonna write a few notes. I'm gonna go see some people. I'm gonna go out and buy a bunch of pop-by gifts and go deliver them. There's really two kinds of agents when it comes to pop-bys. There's three. There's the agent that ain't ever gonna do it, and I hope that's not you. Then there's the agent like myself, who I'm really good at doing them in bulk. So I don't go and do one a day. I mean, I have, but I'm more effective. Like at Thanksgiving with my pie delivery campaign, I'll get 85 pies, and the week before Thanksgiving, I'll deliver all of them. So I'll go and ring the doorbell and talk to people, and if they're not there, I'll take a little video like, hey, it's Deane, your real estate agent buddy. Brought you this pie. Sorry I missed you. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Let me know if you ever need anything in real estate, and I'll text them that little video. So I like to do them in bulk, but some people you just might get 20 pop-by gifts, and every day on your way home from work or whatever you're doing, just stop by and see one or two people. No matter how you do it, if you do it is the key. You just need to do it so that people think that you care. How many people have come by, people that you do business with, how many people have come by your home, brought you some little gift, and just wanted to come by and say hello and thank you for doing business with them? It hardly ever happens. Stand out. Back to the first point the second point about being great. That's how you're great. That's how you differentiate yourself from the pack. So, all right, that's point number, 3. Number 4, your energy level and your attitude are two things that you can control. All right. They are, you can't control how tall you are. You can't control a lot of things in your life, but you can control your attitude and your energy level. Okay. People like to do business with folks that are excited about doing whatever they do. If you're excited about selling real estate and excited about helping people, then they're probably going to follow suit. So like the old story about the Pied Piper, if you're a slug and you're moping around and you're complaining, they're not likely to want to follow you. Okay. So I wrote down your energy level and attitude are two things that you have total control over, and they can make the difference between success and failure. They can make so much of the difference in you realizing your potential. And what happens, have you ever been to a seminar, a Tom Ferry seminar, a Brian Buffini seminar, whatever it might be, Tony Robbins, something like that? It's like they shoot drugs into your arm. I mean, you're fired up and you're like, how did I ever get myself in this situation where I'm so down and so blah? Doing that, and then it lasts for a while and then it sort of goes away. So you got to get in touch with what can help you stay fired up. A neat little trick that was told me one time is have like a mirror wherever you do your work, wherever you're making your calls from. Just put a mirror over top of the phone, or now you don't have a desk phone necessarily, you probably use your cell phone, but if you have a mirror and you can look in that mirror and then notify your face of how excited you are to be in the business, right? Notify your body language, notify your tonality that, you know what, this is awesome. I'm excited, I'm alive, excited, and full of energy, and I want to help you. All right. Maybe have some music playing in the background. Maybe read something occasionally that is going to be good. Don't stuff your brain with BS like the news and all sorts of other crap that's just negative, especially now. Try to find something positive. And it's harder today than ever, but try to find something positive, put that in your brain. That'll help you get stimulated with some great energy. Okay. I wrote this down. No one wants to work with a deadbeat. Anybody want to argue that point? I mean, no one wants to work with a deadbeat. Think about the opportunity you have in real estate. I can show you somewhere on my desk over here. I've got a list just that sort of looks at the income of all the agents in Hometown Realty. You'd be amazed. I mean, these are people that are just normal people, just like you and me, and they've changed their lives by being in the real estate business. The income that they've had, not that money is everything, but money gives you options. Money allows you to provide things for yourself and for the people that you love. And they are doing that. And you can do that. Okay. I mean, the opportunity we have in front of us is unbelievable. It doesn't matter whether you're a man, woman, white, black, none of that matters. This is the most level playing field of any business that I'm familiar with. And you're in it. Okay. So get excited about that. Notify your face that you're on the cusp of being great. Get away from negative people. Get some sleep. Okay, you can't expect, if you don't have any stored up energy based on recovering from getting some sleep, you're not going to be able to have that energy to convey to other people. Get some exercise. That helps. Put some good stuff in. Eat as well as what's in your brain. Clean up your environment. The cleaner your environment and maybe the clearer your head is. And then find some inspiration. And then lastly, listen to this one. Be inspirational. When you're around other people that you work with, when you're around your family, are you an inspirational source for them? Or are you something that is, maybe, are you the crab in the bucket that's pulling them back down occasionally? You don't want to be that. Be inspirational. Are you inspiring other people around you? I don't know where I learned that lesson, but I try to do that. I try to inspire other people. And you know what? I'm just me and whatever. I'm a normal person. But I have tried to uplift and inspire people. And that's one of the things that keeps me here every day, because I love the fact that we are committed to training, and I love watching you change your life. And it's happened hundreds of times in my tenure at Hometown Realty. That's, Mike, Rodney, Todd, we all is so excited about that. So, be the next one that we inspire to do great things. And then in turn, while you're doing great things, inspire others. Help by reaching back and pulling somebody else up. As every rung you climb the ladder, you bring somebody along with you. All right, so remember that point number 4 is your energy level and attitude are 2 things that you can control. They're contagious, and they're going to be, if you don't pay attention to that, it's going to hold you back. And if you do, it can propel you to the next level. All right, this one is going to be hard to take for some of us. All right, some of us have a serious perception problem. So swallow your pride and just listen to what I'm going to say. Some of us have a serious perception problem. And we do this to ourselves, okay? So listen to this. Do you think that you put out to the world ever that you're too busy? Do you ever do that? How would you do that? Oh, when you just don't have time for anybody and you're just, you're on the phone, you're too busy. Maybe you're always late. When you're late, you convey to people that you ain't got time for them, or that you're not making time for them, and that you don't care. You're always stressed, or you're always like, oh my God, oh geez. You go home, you're like, oh God, what a day, or you talk to your friends. So when they see these signs, is that attracting business to yourself, or is that turning people off if you're stressed like that? What if you always talk about how busy you are? I think there's a fine line between being very active in the business and being too busy. I don't want anybody to be too busy for me, and I don't want if they're too busy for me, I don't want to cause more problems for them. So you don't want to convey that you're too busy, and I think a lot of us do. That's how maybe it's cool to be ultra busy, and stressed and all that kind of stuff. What if you don't seem happy? What if you never say anything really positive about the business? You just talk about all the BS and the problems. Do you know any realtors like that? Or are you looking in the mirror? Because all of us at some point or another have done that. All right. Do you discuss your problems in real estate with other clients and with people in your center of influence and in your life? So is that attractive to these people? Are they going to be likely to refer you the business that they could be referring you to if you're that person? So that's a big perception problem, that we are putting out the signals that we're just too busy and that we don't want, or that we're not ready for new business. The second thing I wrote down, this is pay attention for those of you that are new to the business, is that you're putting out signals that you are too new. That's one of the things that a lot of new agents tell me is, gee, I'm only 24. I don't know, how am I ever going to be able to get going in the business and whatever else. You know what? I've seen plenty of people that are 21, 22 have tremendous success. And I've seen people that are a lot of gray hair, bomb out. So don't worry about that. It's really how you sound and how you convey your care, your competency, and your confidence to other people. So when ignorance comes out of your mouth, then you're repelling. When competency and confidence and good character come out of your mouth, then you're attractive. Okay, so if you're new, that's fine. You just have to double down on your skill set, double down on your dialogues, so that you might look young, but you're definitely not inexperienced, and you definitely know what you're talking about. So the other one I said, and the next one is, so you're conveying to people that you're just not very professional. So how do you dress every day? Even when you don't have appointments, people see you. Okay, so they see you and they're like, gee, sweatpants and that's just not very professional. Your vehicle's always dirty. Your environment is always messy. Is that the kind of person that I want to have manage probably the largest financial transaction in my life? I don't think so. How committed are you if that's the way you present yourself? If you're always just hanging around the house, or you're always playing golf or doing something other than selling real estate, or if you're always just all the drama king or the drama queen, I don't know. I'm not sure that's the right signal you want to put out. And yet we do. I was getting gas at BJ's not long ago. This is pretty funny. And so I'm just pumping gas, and this woman comes up and she's on the phone. She's like, oh God, oh geez. And she hangs up and she looks over at me. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh, just the stress. I'm like, over what? She goes, well, you wouldn't understand. I sell real estate. I'm like, oh my God, that's got to really be tough. I'm just inside, I'm just laughing my ass off. And she's like, oh, it's just every one of my clients is insane. And these deals are just hard to manage. I just can't, I don't know how long I can put up with this. So, I mean, if she's just saying that to a total stranger, don't you think people that really know her can look at her face and see her tonality and her body language and realize, hey, I do not want to deal with that, So be careful of that. The last one I wrote down here is, with our perception problems, is some of us are putting out there that we're too successful, right? And that can be dangerous, because you put out there that you sell so much that people don't want to throw another log on the fire because they think maybe you're too busy. That they think you've got too many clients and that you're not really interested in any kind of new business. I don't know many agents that are active that aren't interested in new business. So you don't want to put that out. There's a fine line between being successful and then over successful where you don't want any business. Okay. maybe they think you're so successful because you forgot to say thank you when they provided you a service, or they provided you a referral, or they did business with you. Maybe you forgot to sincerely thank them, or maybe you thanked them, but they didn't see the sincerity in that. You got to let people know how appreciative you are. None of us got here on our own. Okay, we've all had help from somewhere, somebody. Make sure people understand that. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for that, and really let them know that you really care about that. All right. The other way you make them think you're too successful is that when your communication just drops off to nothing. It's really easy if you only have 3 past clients to call them all the time and to drop by a pop by gift or whatever else. But when you have hundreds or thousands of past clients, it's harder to manage that. It's hard to stay in communication with them, and they might think, gee, like we said before, that you don't really care. So that's the list. Can these things hold you back? Does everybody have all these problems? Absolutely not. I guarantee you that most of us can find something amongst, knowing it all, just being good and not great, and sort of following the masses, not communicating well with the clients, not having that energy level and the enthusiasm for the business, as well as our perception problems. I think we can all relate to that. And if we can just make a little bit of an adjustment, I think it can certainly help you get closer to your potential. If you have any questions, see if anybody has texted me. My number is 244-1022. If you do have any questions, seeing none, I think we can rock and roll. So thanks for your time. We appreciate everything you do. If I can help you, again, 244-1022, give me a shout. Have a great day. See ya.